Carl! 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 Carl!
Oh yeah, welcome back. It's Normal World. My name is Quarterback Garrett, and this is the news. Former Vice President Mike Pence recently spoke to a crowd of 13 people at a pizza ranch in Iowa. One spectator called the event issue-oriented and informative, while the other referred to it as the worst party they'd ever attended. It's a weird place to have a birthday party.
It is. I don't know. Actress Emily Blunt has apologized after 2012 comments resurfaced in which she referred to her server at Chili's as enormous. The server could not be reached for comment as she died of heart failure 6 years ago.
Well, it's to be expected.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. The family of two American hostages released by Hamas are lashing out at the BLM activist Sean King because he apparently claimed that he has facilitated their release. Sean King defended himself, saying, quote, "I got those hostages out just as sure as I am a Harlem Globetrotter." It's a weird thing, Sean.
Yeah, he's very black. That's his thing.
Yes.
Looks like
Kang.
kid Christopher Reed had sex with a gallon of milk. Last weekend, Pfizer issued a release stating, while mRNA COVID vaccine does not definitely show increased risks of myocarditis, and I don't even know the word, but it will eventually lead to an excellent Netflix docudrama.
That's the goal.
Welcome to Normal World. I'm Dave Landau.
I'm Quarterback Garrett again, and we are joined, as always, by the lovely Angela.
Hi.
And one of my favorite people from, tons of different shows, but from the Opie and Anthony days, a day of the best radio program ever. Please welcome from Weird Medicine, Dr. Steve.
Thank you, my friend. And that word was pericarditis that you were having trouble with.
The fact that I didn't give that to you to read is pissing me off.
What's wrong with you?
I didn't even know.
There's a doctor in the room.
Yeah, it turns out, it might be causing some heart issues. I don't know if I'm allowed to ask you if you believe that.
Oh, it's not a matter of belief. There's, young men are known to be the ones that are at highest risk of having some inflammation of the heart. And that can be caused by the vaccine, it can be caused by the virus as well. And what they're the problem is we don't have long-term data. And so we're all sort of trying to react to this. So in the long term, sorry, I'm already being a bummer on the show, just throwing data out.
That's why you're here.
Okay, fair.
You are a doctor out there.
We're having too much fun. But you can look at relative risk and absolute risk. And the people who want to discourage the vaccine use will say, well, there's a 30 to 50% increase. And the people who want to encourage people to take the vaccine can say, well, it's only, 2 out of 100,000 that have this problem. They're both right. I don't know the exact numbers, but they're both right, and that's the frustrating thing is we shouldn't have sides in this, in my opinion. Now,
Too late.
yeah, too late.
Too late.
Should we be mandating young men to have this until we know more? I don't think so, but I think that I'm taking it because I'm at risk.
No, I get that. And I think that's the problem is I think the mandating thing is what's made people so skeptical.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And when something feels forced on you and then stuff starts coming out, like I found out yesterday, one of my best friends from high school died working out at the age of 41.
Yeah.
And it's like, and not to be a bummer, but it's like I just found that out last night. We were talking about at dinner.
I'm sorry.
Where it's like he's just working out and he just keeled over.
Yeah, it seems abnormal.
Yeah, and it's I know he had it, and now because of the way everything's going, that's my first thought.
Correct.
And I don't want it to be, but my distrust of leadership is that's my first thought. I mean, it could have been a lot of things. I mean, he and I used to party fairly hard, but it's still, that's my first thought.
Sure. I had a friend in, God, this really is a bummer, in kindergarten who died from measles. This was before the measles vaccine. So I was
about to say measles.
1 in 1,000 kids will die from measles. And in this country now, we're almost 100% vaccinated. So you'll have people throughout the statistic, well, more people are harmed by the vaccine than they are by measles in the United States. Well, that's true because we're mostly 100% vaccinated. So I'm very in favor of those kinds of vaccines. The mRNA vaccine, there's some uses for it in cancer care and some other things like that. It's an amazing technology, but the problem is mandating it.
Right.
Well, with that long-term data you were saying, like we don't have the data to.
We can't.
You can't mandate something you don't have data for. To know if it's hurting people or not.
Didn't approve it. It was approved under an emergency use authorization. So I think that people need to make up their own mind about that. I was harmed significantly by COVID. And if I start hacking and coughing during this, I can show you the pictures of what COVID did to my lung. I mean, I lost 1/8 of my lung from that asinine virus.
It took my wife out for a while. She was like kind of close to death.
Yeah.
She was in the hospital. Yes, the mandate did. And when she went to the hospital, they turned her away. They were like, "No, it's probably just a cold."
Ugh.
And then when she came back, and it was worse, and they were like, "No, it's you just need to deal with it."
Yeah.
It was so strange to have the opposite of what you expect because you're hearing for like 2 years straight, "We need to take care of this, and it's the most important thing." And then when your wife actually gets it, and she goes to the hospital, and she's like can't breathe because her lungs are full of liquid, they're like, "Nah, it's fine."
Yeah, if her oxygen saturation wasn't low, they were kicking people back out. But, my thing from the beginning, and I know this is not what we were going to talk about, but
no, we have more.
From day one, I said, if we just have a therapeutic, then you would get the virus and you go to your doctor, you get a prescription, you go to the pharmacy, and you take a pill and you don't go to the hospital and you don't die. And very early in this, when I was doing my COVID sit rep things on YouTube, I said there's a drug in Japan. Now, Fuji had a drug called favipiravir. And Fuji's not a big player in pharmaceuticals in the United States, but they had it for influenza, but it had known activity against this type of virus. And I was predicting in June of 21 that we would have it in 3 months, and we didn't. We put all of our efforts into getting a vaccine, and we finally got Paxlovid, and then Molnupiravir, which is Pfizer's version. Favipiravir never made it to the United States. I didn't even see a clinical trial in the United States. I'm not saying there weren't any, but I didn't see them. So
I didn't know the Fuji's made pharmaceuticals. They're
just film.
prolific.
Yeah. Well, you can't make money off of film anymore, so you got to diversify.
No, that's interesting though, because I didn't know. I remember you calling into Anthony's because we had a lot of questions.
Sure.
Because I remember when Anthony and I were doing his show, we were watching people go on planes and they started taking temperatures and they were, soldering people in their homes in China.
Right.
We were like, I wonder how far this is going to go. We had no idea it was going to come here to lock down to how far it went. But I remember we were asking you about it, and you had a lot of different ways in which you thought it could be handled, and it didn't go in any of those directions.
Correct.
And that's sad.
really hoping that we learn something from this as a society and a government, how to not to deal with a situation like this again. You know, if there was an Ebola virus that you could catch by sneezing on people, I could see locking people down at that point because the fatality rate is so high. But I mean, it was pretty terrifying to work in a hospital at the very beginning of this. I remember the first day that I walked into the first COVID ward. And we ended up having about 8 of them in our hospital. We were closing floors down just to put COVID patients in. And it was just grim and quiet, and everyone was kind of freaked out. And then later on, it just became a matter of course.
Well, the twerking helped.
Yes, that did help quite a bit.
TikToks help with the morale.
Good Lord. But I caught it at work. So
I would
imagine.
I
was fully PPE'd up. I had the mask and the face shield and everything, and still caught it because I had a patient who was fresh. I can't say too much, but they were fresh and they were screaming, and I could feel the wind go under the shield and into my eyes.
Getting sick as we speak.
Yeah. And I got a viral conjunctivitis, and that was the route that I got it.
And do you feel like it's different per person, per immune system? Because I'm very prone to sinus infections, but I never got this.
Oh, yeah.
And I just didn't. And like my son had it, my wife had it, but my son also had it right before he went to Disney World. And try telling a kid he can't go to Disney World for a
virus
that he can't feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Seriously,
I think he was 5, and I've never heard him use language at that point. And we're like, yeah, we can't go on the trip because you're sick. And he's like, no, I'm not. He goes, you call that bitch back. And I was laughing too hard.
They do pay attention.
Oh, yeah, it turns out they listen. Yeah. That was when I learned a valuable lesson in what movies I was showing him.
Oh, yeah.
Then that's what I'm curious, because I get sinus infections and migraines worse than like anybody I know. But then when it comes to that stuff...
Well, this wasn't, I mean, the fact that we have natural variability in our immune systems is what keeps one virus from taking all of us out. And that's on purpose. Even the influenza epidemic, the quote-unquote Spanish flu, which started in Kansas, it killed, 1% of the world's population. It was a huge number, but still 99% of people didn't die from it. But these coronaviruses, there's other coronaviruses, they kill people all the time.
Right.
We used to never test for it. And we would just call it atypical pneumonia or viral pneumonia. And it killed 10, 20,000 people a year in this country. That's an estimate. And we just never tested for it. Now patients come in and they get a viral respiratory panel, and you can tell if they've got rhinovirus, which is just common cold, and all these other viruses, which is kind of neat. I'm neat. I'm sorry.
I think it's
12, but it's really interesting now that because of this COVID thing that we now test for all these other viruses, and testing for them is the first step in wiping them out. I really feel like I would like to declare war on all pathogenic human viruses. And I know I'm really sticking my head out, my neck out when I say viruses suck, but there's just no purpose for them. We need to have a moon launch type push where we just wipe out human viruses.
How do you do that? Just like door to door?
Well,
God tried with AIDS, at least with the right one.
So smallpox is a good example.
Certain groups.
I'm sorry.
I am listening.
Look away.
I was to get to the smallpox talk, but
anyway, but go on.
Yeah, we eradicated smallpox. We eradicated smallpox because it had no asymptomatic carriers. And the vaccine worked really quickly.
Okay.
So you didn't have to vaccinate everyone in the world, but you vaccinated a bunch of people, and then you waited until a case came up. And then you would go to where that case was and vaccinate everyone around them and create this wall of immunity around the virus. And they did that for, enough years that there hasn't been a smallpox case in this world since the last one, whenever it was. I don't know the date, but they still keep it in several vials frozen, I guess, just in case they need to start something up again.
Start a terrorist.
Yeah, what the heck?
But that's how you do it. Now, smallpox is an interesting case because, it had those unique characteristics. So something like coronavirus that has asymptomatic carriers be a little bit harder to do. But we could do it if we just put our mind to it.
I think that's actually relieving news.
Yeah, well.
I mean, then there's so many doctors like you and doctors out there that really do want to help people and got into it for the right reasons, and I think that's where most people stand. And like my mom was an RN. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty that aren't, sadly, but I think that it's
Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
Throwing shade.
What, you didn't kill Tom Sizemore? So joking. Sure, I don't
I'm
know.
joking.
Yes. Speaking of representatives, Sheila Jackson, do you know her?
I heard the name.
Well, yesterday, an audio recording of Representative Sheila Jackson Lee cussing out her staff was released. Let's hear a bit of that.
It's the worst shit that I could have ever had put together. 2 goddamn big-ass children. Fucking idiots. Serve no goddamn purpose. Ain't managing nobody. Nobody's respecting them. Nobody gives a shit about what you're doing. And you ain't doing shit. And this is an example of it. I gave it to Jerome. This is not child's work. Okay?
She called on Jerome.
Mm-hmm. But he didn't answer his phone.
No.
He called Tyrone.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I feel like
probably
more relatable.
Yeah, I'll be honest. You do want to say that to your staffers a lot of the time. Not here. But, I mean, I get it. Like I say, not here. Like I have another thing that I run. Like my family. My
staffers. I was going to call my children my staffers.
Your staffers. Yeah. Well,
the trash out, staff.
It's interesting, though, because now since this came out, more and more stuff is being released, and we have another recording of her. Let's hear it now.
Hi, Miss Lee. We're just calling from St. Jude's Children's Hospital to see if you'd be interested in possibly donating to some of the kids here that have terminal cancer.
What you mean? Say rude? Because it's dinner time.
Well, I...
You should get cancer.
Nope.
Wow, it's very rude. Man.
Well,
so I hope that we don't have more later.
Take everything I said
the whole
back.
show. I think it's rude to tell someone they should have cancer.
yeah, this is
Terrible stuff. But I'll tell you what won't give you cancer. Undertack.
Undertack. My
That's
favorite
true.
sponsor. I'm done. I'm saying it. My favorite sponsor.
They're I'm going to definitely say number 1.
Number 1. I'm wearing them right now.
And they're for number 2 is in the sense of your balls because they cut mine oh so perfectly. Mm-hmm. They're not your typical men's boxers, are they, Garrett?
They are not.
What they are.
Moisture wicking. They make you feel nice and soft down there. Antibacterial.
Yep.
That's crazy. You know when you're wearing some boxers and they're all bunched up in there and you got to adjust them and you're in public and you don't want to look like that. It looks weird.
Well, yeah.
Undertack don't have that problem.
No, like when it sticks to your leg and you start walking with like the...
You get the little bow leg walk going on.
And you just...
Everybody knows what it is.
Everybody knows you're unsticking. You don't have to worry about that with Undertack because it keeps you cool down in those parts. And it also makes you feel cool. So that's 2 cool as you get with 1 pair of boxers. And you can go ahead and you can go to undertack.com and you can get 20% off that site-wide by using the code NORMAL20. It's exceptional comfort. And also, they're going to give you a guarantee. Look at that. You get a money-back guarantee. Undertack.com. It's spelled under TAC.com. Under TAC.com. Go right there. You're going to love it. I promise you will not be dissatisfied. Code NORMAL20. And the best part is a portion of the proceeds go to human trafficking. That's to stop it. It's not aiding
Relief.
In any way.
Yeah, it's not aiding. We had a couple sponsors that had turned out completely pro-human trafficking. We had no idea.
I had to take them aside and have a conversation.
People were ordering these dressers and getting kids. It's not, anyway, it was a whole different thing.
It's a whole
So go to undertack.com and stop human trafficking while also trafficking your moist balls all about your underwear.
Not moist balls because they're moisture wicking.
I need that. My scrotum feels
Dry as
like
a
a
bone.
wad of saltwater taffy slapped against my thigh right now.
Any other type?
Get some undertack in there, man.
So the vaccine talk.
Because we gave you the Atlantic City Boardwalk chair.
No matter what I say, I'm going to
saying
piss
he's
off
wet.
half of the people listening. So
He's wet.
Sorry.
That's what he's saying.
What a visual.
What is it?
Oh, man.
Undertack.
Oh, rapper 50 Cent recently slammed Joe Biden for taking a vacation in Delaware amidst the war in the Middle East. 50 Cent wrote this on Instagram. Hey, Joe, get the F up. We're in trouble, man. The photo was outdated, but Biden was still on vacation at the time. We certainly...
Walking on the beach. You see that video of him just like strolling while people are getting exploded?
Yeah, to
Great.
me, though, it doesn't matter. So what are you going to do, send him there and have him have all dementia?
Yes.
What do you think he has,
the
Dr.
front line.
Steve, if you were being honest?
Diagnose him right now.
Not that you're never being honest, you usually are, but if you looked at him, would you say, that's a healthy man?
Yeah, if you look at how he was, say, 10 years ago, even then, compared to how he is now, doddering is probably the word that you'd have to use. And, he's got some medical frailty, it appears, but I've never examined him, and I have not done cognitive testing on him, but he's having some issues. No, I mean, it's not a secret that he's having some issues in public.
Why is his chin balls now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
So
the
what's up
weird
with that?
one, right?
No, do you have implants or something?
Medical
I don't know.
marvel.
It's just he has testicles for a chin.
Medical marbles. What's going on down there?
Just, you know what he needs? Face undertack.
Yeah.
And then maybe it'll help
Hold
keep
that neck
his
together.
chin balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I think he's very frail.
Yeah, I really do. And that's why it's odd that people want 4 more years because, he called the war a mass shooting, which is a very interesting way
I mean,
to describe a holy
Why does he want 4 more years of this? That's the question I have. I just don't understand what would drive him to do that.
a gun to his head. I mean, that's the part I don't get either, considering the trouble Hunter's in. If being president,
blackmail he's under probably.
yeah, but being president, I mean, the China money, don't you?
Oh, that's a lot of
Who
China
knows?
money.
Yeah, I remember, Bush the first when he got voted out after
One term, yeah.
one term. I remember reading about him coming back home, and there was a big crowd waiting for him outside his plane when it landed. He said, "This isn't that bad."
Mm-hmm.
That's Joe should just take it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be president,
Yeah,
and he lost.
which he always wanted.
Yeah,
Even when he was stealing other people's speeches and stuff.
it's all.
You got to do it, Joe. Just go off into
Yes.
the sunset.
There are other
Sunset yourself.
very viable Democrat candidates, so I'd like to see a real race. But
Right, and I mean, when you had Bush too, you had then Bill Clinton playing saxophone on the Arsenio Hall show, and you're like,
Pretty
dude,
great.
you're done.
you're done.
That's
Sorry,
the
bro.
closest thing that you had to a black president at the
That
time.
was so cool.
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
remember
It's
that.
like we all know he kills a lot of people, but
He's a mean sex.
I mean, the guy has a lot of charisma.
Sure.
And especially at that time, there was Clinton all the way.
Well, Kennedy Nixon.
Right.
Just the debate is what lost it for Nixon.
He was just pouring sweat.
It looked awful, and Kennedy was the first sort of TV president.
Yeah.
So
And Nixon, they were wondering if he was drugged. There's all sorts of rumors at the time.
I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, more about 50 Cent, though. We actually do have an exclusive statement from 50 Cent about this.
I'll be over here.
Just hide your face.
Yo, Joe, stop rubbing lotion on those honeys and get your ass to work. You working on your tan? I see you under that umbrella eating pudding while we at war. You sick, man. Sick. I hope you get eaten by Jaws. Yo, Joe, stop
Jaws.
He was on a tangent.
Man, I hope you get eaten by Jaws, man.
It's just nice of him to call in and say
uncanny.
that. Yeah. Now we're going to do a very important part of the show. The whole reason why we're even having the show while we throw around this nonsense. I guess we should just do real quick audio 2 of Miss Lee.
What this nipple looking shit on my pizza?
The pepperonis?
Yeah, there's one I eat slice. It look like white bitches' titties.
Did you not want pepperoni?
I want pepperoni, olives, and no titties.
Well, I don't think it came with titties.
Bitch.
Oh, look at the time.
Real damning stuff. Do you have to go?
That is rough.
But you can't
running
go
out of
because now it's time for Ask Dr. Steve.
Oh, now I can't leave. We don't have music.
No, we
Silent there. It hurts.
we try to ask for it and then no one
A
listens.
moment of silence.
I try to say by default, always have music because it would be extremely awkward to not have it.
We discovered an AI voice machine, so we just can't.
We get distracted easily.
into it.
We get distracted.
We apologize for the endless barrage of voices that we have for no reason.
That was AI?
Yeah, except for Tom Hanks, who calls in for real. Yeah, he just always calls.
Won't leave us alone.
Yeah, he's
Congratulations.
following me. It's really bizarre. So what we did is we had some people write in some questions that they had.
Okay.
And we wanted you to answer them to the best of your knowledge, which from what I've experienced with you is a ton of it.
Well.
So let's go ahead and ask Dr. Steve. Does exposure to plastics really increase your estrogen levels? Stuff like polyester in clothing, your phone, water bottles, receipts, etc.
Yeah, I thought this was nuts. And I had Vinny Tortorich on my show. I don't know if you know Vinny, but he used to be America's angriest trainer, and now he's doing a no seeds, no grain thing. But anyway, he was on my show and told me this. I said, "Oh, Vinny, that's BS." So I Googled it on the fly, and it was like, "Uh-oh." Vinny was dropping truth with me a little bit. And it turns out that almost all plastics can secrete estrogenic, molecules that have estrogenic activity. In other words, female hormone. Now, what I have not seen yet is does drinking water out of a bottle that's BPA, does that have physiologic effects? So I'm still looking for that. But I did want to read to you what the symptoms of exposure to estrogen-like
Please
molecules.
do while I sip from this plastic bottle of water.
Plastic bottle.
Try not to spill any on my tits.
In mammals, chemicals having these molecules can produce many health-related problems, such as early puberty in females, reduced sperm counts. We know that sperm counts are declining in this country.
Yeah, but
they don't have an answer for why.
It could be all of them.
Well, I'm just saying.
water.
Listen, correlation and causation aren't the same thing, but it's interesting. Altered functions of reproductive organs, obesity, altered sex-specific behaviors, and increased rates of some breast, ovarian, testicular, and prostate cancer. So
Well, we know there's no altered sexual specific behavior going on.
I have a follow-up question.
totally
Here's the
normal.
next question. Can a man get pregnant?
yeah, you can't ask me to wax eloquent on the coronavirus vaccine and then ask me that question. I'll hit that one next. What are you trying to do to me?
Okay.
We're just
it's a
saying-
complicated question, as you're saying.
We're just seeing if you can be completely honest, and then if your plane goes down tomorrow.
We'll know why.
That is so funny, though. You can't ask a doctor if a man can get pregnant. They're like, look, I don't want to lose my license.
Well,
Oh, no, I get it.
no, I'm just being funny.
I know. What would you say? What if I did one real hard?
What, a man?
Yeah. Yeah, like
Well, that's what we're talking about.
What if you did it so hard?
Boom.
Yeah,
Baby bump.
Well, so the first thing you have to do is, let me ask you a question. How do you define a man?
He has a dick.
People seem to have trouble with the other question.
I would say born with a penis
Yeah, that's more technical.
and testicles
Okay.
and keeps them.
An XY chromosome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
So then there's nothing physically in the structure of the universe that would prevent you, if you had the proper technology, from implanting a uterus in a male.
Whoa.
And, transplanting it and giving them the right hormones and giving it a blood supply and implanting it with an embryo.
And then posing for a Calvin Klein ad in Times Square.
Correct. There's not, and then you'd have to deliver it through a C-section without a whole lot of weird plumbing. But there's nothing inherently in the way that the universe is constructed that would prevent that.
You think
that's my answer?
Dystopian.
The natural urethra birth would be...
No.
It doesn't stretch like that.
urethra birth.
You man.
See the head crowning.
Push. Well, I have a much more
You
important...
are aware that the baby doesn't come out of the urethra in a woman either, right?
I'm
During
not.
natural birth. Okay.
Oh, no,
I have 4 kids
They're
and I
in the
have no
same
idea.
place.
No, I watched...
They're close by, but it was a
stork.
No, it's the same.
I watched the baby come out on a slip and slide of shit.
Oh, okay.
As far as I'm concerned,
I never did.
I think Dad should be over in a different room smoking cigars,
like the old days.
never saying any of that nonsense.
Right.
I think that is a woman's job to carry the baby and then get through it herself.
I'm there for the whole thing. I'm ready to catch. I got a catcher's mitt.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I delivered a bunch of babies in residency.
You were catching?
Wait.
No, I mean it like for real. You were like, come on.
No, I would. Yeah. Well, the last one
Why'd you
came
have
out
one
so
in-
fast.
Did you have one in your house in the baby pool?
I was ready for that though. I could have.
Well, I think that's
could have
cool.
done it. I
They
showed
let
up
you
and
do
the
it.
doctor did not show up, and then the nurse delivered, and I was like, "Get out
you
of the
go
way,
in
nurse! I
urgent
could have
care?
done this."
It's not that hard when the
Went to Walmart where you get the shots.
my first delivery. I don't know. Can I talk about this? Yeah, probably.
Oh, yeah.
My
Need some water?
yeah. Sorry.
Is that COVID?
My
I hope
senior.
we're not over asking.
No.
I want because I do want to know about childbirth. I'm joking, of course, about the shit. It was a beautiful, miraculous.
Oh
thing.
yes.
Well, my first delivery, the resident told me that she was not dilated. And what happens in childbirth is you stick your hand in there and you feel the cervix. If it's still closed, they've got quite a while to go.
That's how I got her pregnant.
It has to get 10 centimeters, and that's about this big, to deliver it for the baby's head to pass through. So he said, well, yeah, she's not going to deliver anytime tonight. So I went in to check her, and I felt around. I went, that's not a cervix, that's an ass. My first delivery, this kid was being delivered breech, and my senior resident stuck his finger in the kid's butt and said,
no.
she's not dilated yet.
Oh no!
That was fun.
Have you talked to the kid since?
No.
Jeez, therapy.
They're 31 and in porn.
Goodness.
I
don't know why.
Oh man, that's a rough one.
That was a scary one.
Oh yeah, it was the
First
first
delivery.
though.
Yep.
Yeah, it really is amazing though. Like the doctors that are able to do.
Maintain sanity.
Oh, the guy that
An
saved my
erection.
ass on that one, he was so calm. He just came, everything's going to be okay. Everything's
Yeah.
fine. I love that guy.
Our doctor was great. They didn't force. It was very much like wait till you're ready.
Let it happen.
And then she didn't want to take the drugs, and I was like, take the drugs.
Yeah.
Oh, take
she's-
the
I'll take the
drugs.
drugs.
She's like, why? I'm like, they're drugs. That's why I did them.
Yeah.
And she took them and she was like, oh, you're right. I'm like, yeah, they're great. They're drugs.
Yeah.
But it was very smooth after that, because but they weren't like, it wasn't a push or a forcing. It was very, it looked like hell. I'm so glad we don't have to do that.
Man.
If men had to
So
do
nice.
that, abortions would be available at Wendy's.
That is true.
Birth
Yeah,
rate is
we are-
down.
we are not capable beings. Women are.
Yep.
But yeah,
Agreed.
Yeah, that is a. Angela, you had a baby.
Yeah.
How was that day?
Yeah, it was good. It was Christmas Eve.
Nice.
Had to have an emergency C-section.
Did you?
Yeah.
Let's see the scar.
Pop it out.
I'm wearing a fanny pack. I can't show you.
It's sparkly. It's sparkly.
Completely kidding. I can show you mine.
I'll show you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting though. I didn't know. All right, we'll move on. You've heard of a detox. What do you think are the long-term effects of it's butt Botox?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's that Botox.
Yeah, not just Botox, but like apparently
The Botox I'm familiar with is rose stem cells for skin.
okay.
That's a brand name. I was going to say, I'm not going to trash somebody's brand name.
Oh no, I'm not. I don't want you to do that either. No.
But rose stem cells are great. Stem cells are cells that will grow into other cells.
Okay.
And they're great if you're a rose, but if you put it on human skin, I would have to see the double-blind studies that show that it actually does anything to human skin that's beneficial.
So wait,
About
it's a rose
Stem cell.
cells from a rose?
Correct.
Oh, I thought it was like rose, like somebody's last name that developed it.
No. And
Literally
from
from a
apples.
rose. Wow.
Apple and rose stem cells. That's what they sell, and it's very expensive. And I don't know how that would work. A lot of these things, what you want to look for, and this is more of a broad discussion about when claims are made about things, look for the clinical studies. And what you're looking for is a double-blind, placebo-controlled study. How do we know things?
Right.
So you take 1,000 people and you put rose stem cells on their face, and take 1,000 people and give them a cream that's just an emollient, and then nobody knows. The patient doesn't know. The researcher doesn't know. And at the end, you have to have a defined endpoint. Well, what is it? Less wrinkles, poutier lips. Who knows? And that certain glow, whatever you're looking for, you have to study for that. And then you look to see if there is a statistically significant difference between the treatment group and the other group. If you don't have that, then they're just blowing smoke. I could send out, let's say there's a placebo effect of 5%. In other words, 5% of people are going to detect a positive effect. And I send it out to 1,000 people. So that'd be 50 people are going to get that placebo effect, right? Well, I put all 50 of their testimonials up on my website and throw the other 950 away. And you can go, there's just page after page of testimonials saying this stuff is great.
It's a great idea.
That's why testimonial evidence is not evidence.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, it's very
I
tricky.
don't trust anybody.
So no, but so if you so like let's say you wanted to get Botox on your beehole.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, on the anus?
I guess that's what
Yeah.
this
Is that what it is? Like, are you just
Yeah.
locking in the...
No, you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, you
like,
would-
does
you want
anybody
it to-
come in and go, listen?
You'll be dropping loads everywhere.
Right. Like, you'd have no feeling?
The whole reason that we have sphincters is so that the saber-toothed tiger can't track us through the savannah as we run away from him, because we're dropping, fecal matter everywhere behind us. We can hold it in until we get free of the saber-toothed tiger, and then we can evacuate our bowels in safety and then live to transmit our genes to the next generation. I mean, that's why that was developed.
Or we drop all of the load at the same time when we see the saber tooth. And then
Or that. That's right.
it's like a distraction.
You're saying a wrinkle-free anus is a dead anus.
Correct.
All right. That's good to know. Okay. So people doing this, stop.
Yeah, don't do it.
You're gonna get attacked.
I don't know what the benefit is. Now,
I don't either. I think people are just, it's like anal bleaching. What's the benefit there? Besides, like, do you really want to have a...
appearance, though. This is actually, what Botox does is it paralyzes the muscle.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes they'll give small doses of Botox in an anus if they've got an anal fissure, in other words, a tear, because that keeps the thing from spasming and continuing to tear.
Oh, you're telling me. The 80s, So that actually brings us to my next question. Bidets. Are you a fan of the bidet?
Biggest fan that ever lived. Matter of fact, I have a portable. This is TMI. I have a portable bidet that I brought with me to my hotel room. I
it
take
a
it everywhere I go.
Is it a separate bag or is it a...
No, what it is it's just a lavage thing. You fill it up with water, and it's got a little lever on it that has holes in it, and you just stick it between your legs and turn it on. It washes your area off. I mean, think about it. If you use toilet paper to wipe your butt, think of a bare rug and wipe Vaseline on it, and then try to clean it up with newspaper. That's basically what you're trying to do.
The amount of times I've gotten Vaseline on a bearskin rug, my friend.
It's hard to clean up.
Thousands.
Very, very relatable.
I've had to. I now can only afford cubskin rugs. No, that's a good point, because I recently got a bidet. Not gonna lie, I did, and I'll be honest though. I think from the years of toilet paper, it stings a bit.
Oh, it stings good though.
Does that go?
Good sting? This bidet thing might be for something else. I don't know.
Good.
No,
if you have the right kind of bidet, you can actually shoot a little bit of the water actually up into the rectum. And it kind of seems like it cleans you out. You get no skid marks and you get fewer hemorrhoids. You get less proctitis.
I think that might be the problem is there's a hemorrhoid there that's like getting poked.
Yeah.
Poking the bed.
I think you should turn the PSI down on that.
Well,
just like a gentle.
He's right though. If you use it, then you go to wipe after with
nothing.
There's nothing.
You just pat it dry.
You just go. I've never seen such a clean sphincter.
Man, I might need to update on this.
They have toilet seats now. If you don't have to have warm water, which I'm fine with cold water.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah. They have toilet seats now that have them built in. Moen makes one. There's a bunch of them. And they're not expensive. $70, $80. Something.
Yeah, they used to be for the rich and famous.
Correct.
Now they're for any asshole.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good sponsor. We should get a bidet sponsor.
Yes.
Well, they pay.
How do you feel about
me do the live read for it?
The squatty potty? Because that's a thing that's people talk about. Like, oh, you're supposed to poop in this way. And I feel like there's
I don't like it.
It just makes you feel weird. I feel like a toddler sitting on a toilet.
And I already feel that way.
Yeah.
Well,
especially here. They have giant toilets here.
Think about. I haven't tried them out, but
squatty.
No, I haven't tried out the toilets here.
Oh,
I haven't marked my territory yet. But I
finish your water.
Very
interested
in the squatty potty because how did our ancestors move their bowels? They didn't have toilets, and they probably didn't sit on a log either. When we go into the woods and sit on a log because we're used to sitting down, they just squatted.
Yeah, but I just feel like doing.
There you go, like that.
Like this,
it separates your ass cheeks. And
I've taken shits when you're camping. Sometimes you gotta go in the woods.
Yeah, like
and I have found that you don't have to wipe as much,
right?
Because your body's all spread out like it should be.
It's weird that dogs and cats don't ever have to wipe their ass.
Sometimes you have to for them though.
You have to flick it off.
Sick.
Yeah, like I don't know though. I don't live in Iraq.
Yeah.
But in the wild, their friends would just lick it off, which is another.
That's why I also stop. And I brush my dog's teeth a lot.
Do you really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like you got to keep your dog clean. People don't do that enough.
You can't just give them those bones that say they clean their teeth. It's so much easier.
I do.
It is a lie.
The grainies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, but I want. Well, what else we got here?
Oh, LSD.
This is the one I wanted to get into.
You do.
Might run a little long. I don't care. All right. So you've done a bunch of LSD.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
This was actually worded to me, so I apologize.
If you've done a bunch of LSD.
Dave has done a bunch of LSD. Does any still exist in your spine? And if you get a chiropractic adjustment, can it be released?
No, it doesn't work that way.
Dang it.
It's metabolized very rapidly into 4 different molecules that are then broken down and excreted in the urine.
What about the flashbacks?
Flashbacks, that's an interesting phenomenon, and no one knows why those happen, but it's probably not residual drug. It's probably reactivation of a neural pathway in the brain that got turned on by the drug. But there's a term for it, and I can't remember what it is, like photopsy or something like that. I can't remember. I should know that. But, LSD, I have sort of a weird take on LSD. I think Timothy Leary did us all a disservice. Leary was a Harvard psychologist, and he really was pushing psychedelics. He started off with psilocybin, and back then, Sandoz Pharmaceuticals was making pharmaceutical psilocybin and LSD for research purposes. And Leary, one of his research projects that he did, they actually the researchers did drugs with the study subjects, and they said, well, we did it to make it feel like everybody was all on the same playing field, but they just wanted to do drugs, I think. So and what ended up happening with the popularization of LSD before it was studied to the extent where we could make it into a pharmaceutical, and whatever you think about the pharmaceutical industry, the Democrats and the Republicans at the time both were very socially conservative. And what happened was they saw a bunch of dirty hippies, I'm tripping balls, man. And they went, nope. And that was the end of research. They cut off all the medical research for LSD. LSD used to be just legal. They made it a Schedule 1, and that chilled out research for, PTSD and depression and anxiety for about 40 years. We're just now starting to get back.
Yeah.
You can get ketamine now. And S-ketamine is the nasal spray. It's about $1,400 a dose, but you can get ketamine, troches at home through a bunch of different places on the internet. That's prescribed by a legit prescriber, and that's legal for them to prescribe in your state. And but I'm really looking forward to seeing psilocybin made as a pharmaceutical, because it's got great data for things like PTSD.
Yeah, I've heard the same.
And I have, I have a lot of mental
Used
health.
properly.
Yes.
Obviously.
No, and I used ketamine, and I didn't actually, I guess it was an illegal narcotic, so I guess you could say I abused it, but I really didn't. I didn't use huge amounts of it. Even then, I kind of just used it to ease depression.
You were self-medicating.
Yeah, definitely. With alcohol, I went to the extremes. I was saying I was trying to kill myself, but with acid and with, I went to huge extremes with LSD as well, but mushrooms. And when I actually had pure MDMA, it was entirely different than sort of the rave drug I had been taking.
Yeah.
But with psilocybin and ketamine, I do wonder what that is, because I've been on SSRIs that I'm trying to get off of because I don't like them.
Yeah.
Everything that I've been prescribed for depression and things that I've been going through, I just don't connect with. And I still have, and talk therapy helps and all these other things, but I have variations of severe depression, PTSD,
Sure.
And I can't shake it. And there's nothing that's been giving me a treatment, other than talk therapy, that's a relief.
Right.
And I'm wondering if these are something to look into, because they've been so demonized over the years.
Correct.
Yeah.
And everybody who I talk to who has taken microdoses properly in the right dose, ketamine in the right dose, I'm hearing these wonderful advancements, and I'm seeing people who before were in horrible ways.
Why would we withhold something that's got data that would help somebody? And that's the thing that irritates me about this. We should have had these drugs 40 years ago. Yeah. And but we're in a new age. That's one thing. That's, we've made some advances in this, and it's starting to be accepted again. More than just accepted. There's a big push for it. So yeah, I think you're in good company. A lot of people can't take the SSRIs, the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. And how those things work. They took a bunch of depressed people and basically did brain biopsies on them and said, oh, they've got low levels of serotonin. Well, let's give them a drug that will just basically dump buckets of serotonin into their brain and hope that it works. And for some people, it really does. But it is really kind of a sledgehammer type approach. You have a few circuits that are firing that are saying, you suck, or you're not worthy or whatever. And and we would need to be able to work on just those circuits, and that's where talk therapy helps. The ketamine type drugs and those things seem to improve what's called neuroplasticity, so you can actually go in and start working on those circuits. And the one thing I just want to say to you, we're having a big old time, but worth has no prerequisites. I just want you to hear that.
Thank you.
To be worthy, you don't have to pass a test. You don't have to do certain things. There's no prerequisites to being worthy. You are worthy. Garrett, not so much, but
yeah, I know. He gets to not have that voice in his head. Well, actually, he does, but it's just me following him around.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, and
I'm a masochist. I pay him to do
it. When I was young, I was so ignorant to drugs, and in the sense of weed, anything else that I was using to get me high, drunk, whatever.
Yeah.
Alcohol has never been something that I think has worked in my family bloodline. Which my dad wasn't a drinker, but all my relatives who were sure as hell were.
Yeah.
But as far as drugs went, cocaine, that's not good for anybody. Heroin, if you look at the principles of a painkiller and where it came from, sure.
Sure.
But not what it became. And that's why I feel like I had such a juvenile perspective of what it was. Like I'm trapped as the 17-year-old's.
Well, unlike every other kid, though, right? You're saying, well, I was a kid, I didn't know anybody. No other kid knows better either. That's the problem.
True.
And it's accessible to us when we're young like that. And, our brains are still forming. And particularly if you had a lot of traumatic stuff happen in your youth, I'm a lot older than you, but even when you were a kid, just taking kids to a psychologist wasn't really a thing.
Oh, not at all.
So you were trying to make yourself feel better.
No, and the people who took care of you, it would depend on they didn't go to psychologists.
Yeah.
Right, so they're messed up too.
Right.
Yeah, and they're, my mom had her issues and like she was going to get help and she was an RN so she could talk her way out of anything. And this is at a time where it's like you could be a doctor but preferred to be an RN, and so it just a different way of being raised and there's certainly more physical.
Sure.
And that's, and that's why I want to be so careful with my son because I hate it because it's hard for me to get out of bed so much. And I'm sure that goes for a lot of people, but it's like, it's difficult. And it depends on the day, sure. But it's like, it really is challenging.
But you do it. And that's what you're modeling for him.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to pick up on. His dad, maybe didn't want to do this, but he did it anyway because it was his responsibility. And you're modeling so much better behavior for him now than you would have had you still been doing, drugs and alcohol.
Oh, absolutely.
Which you might not even have been alive to have him if you hadn't stopped.
No, I should be dead. Yeah. And no, like the other day I brought him to see Kiss, and people may not like Kiss,
that was
but
awesome.
Yeah, but if
it looked like a lot of fun.
Dude, they kept throwing him special picks. I mean,
oh really? That's awesome.
Yeah, not a lot of real singing, and sure, Paul Stanley dances like your drunk aunt who's had way too much Chardonnay.
He's in his golden years, all right?
He's just doing the shake thing, and he's got the arm fat jiggling.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh my God. You're like, please stop this. You're like, please send Gene back to our side. So which Gene just looks like an animatronic bear. Yeah. Like he just does those moves. But yeah,
he's like, that's all of my range.
Yeah, this is.
I go any further, I'll crack something.
Arthritis.
Yeah, just this costume's very heavy. I didn't really think I'd be wearing it at 74 years old. So, but yeah, it's but is something that I like. He's into sports, and that's not because I was into sports. That's because he loves them. So I'll love them for him, and it's like that's. Yeah, I just want to find the right thing that can help me get along because so far it's been a challenge, and SSRIs just, man, they just don't make me feel right.
Yeah, there are other drugs, and I'm not saying drugs by themselves are the answer.
Of course,
talk therapy plus medication seems to work better. If you have anxiety, there is an app on. If you have a MetaQuest. There's a virtual reality app called Trip, TRIPP. It's amazing for anxiety, and you can use it. And if you're having a panic attack, it will very often, abort the panic attack. And it's a beautiful, virtual world that you're in, and it teaches you breathing exercises. It sounds stupid, but you got to see it. It's amazing.
It's very cool.
Yeah, they were voted, best invention of 2022 or something, and their founder Nanea Reeves was on what's the thing that Hoda and Jenna or whatever that thing is, and demonstrating it for them. So if they can figure it out,
dude, I might put that on and never come out and just I live here now.
I was talking to him earlier about it, and I got one because I just want to.
I want to try it.
I think it's a good thing because a natural way to escape panic too and anxiety really.
Yeah, it's drug free.
A drug free, escape from that because I just don't, benzos and all that. I just, in my opinion, they aren't good for me.
Well, and you're generating your own drugs. We have receptors for things like morphine because we produce morphine-like molecules in our body. And the same thing with cannabis. There are cannabis receptors and the GABA receptors. So this kind of thing, kicks a lot of that stuff into gear. And it's, if you're into natural stuff, it's certainly non-pharmacologic. Is it drug-free? Sure, because you're not taking a pill, but you're still, changing the chemistry in your brain.
Which the natural way to do it, though, is exciting.
Correct.
That's how you should do it. It's really bad the way that that kind of natural, you have that feeling to go out natural. Because there's like a stigma to that, like you're some kind of weird hippy-dippy listening to crystals and stuff. But it's like, yeah, you should be, if you can, do it the natural way.
I agree.
Like go out and run. And I always hear that, when you get into that flow state when you're running, you get into that kind of, that runner's high.
Yeah, you're secreting endorphins.
It's like your body is making that. So there's a way to do it in other ways.
I have a friend that's literally addicted to running. He hasn't missed. His name's John, and he hasn't missed. I think he's on like 1,400 days straight, or maybe even be more than that. But I really think if he missed a day, he'd go through withdrawal.
But if you've ever had sex on Molly, you're like, really? I want a runner's high?
That's way low. Not even close.
This has been Ask Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve, songs.
I'm honored that you guys worked so hard on that.
I am too.
That was a really good song. We paid a lot of money. No money.
We are about to head out
too
before, but we do have our end of the world question.
that's right, yeah.
So I don't want to let you know in advance, but we will have an end of the world question coming up. But where can we find you, Doctor? That is more important.
Well, anywhere podcasts are found. I'm on Sirius XM on channel 103 on Saturdays, but listen on demand. That's the best way. And wherever podcasts are found, it's called Weird Medicine. And we have a Patreon. I have a Cameo that I literally charge $2 because I would do it for free, and just because it's fun to do. And cameo.com/weirdmedicine.
And I'm actually about to join Cameo.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah, I
think
used
you'll
to
do very well.
You do great on that.
I had another one I was doing for a while, and it was fun, and I want to try this one out, so I appreciate that.
I have a crappy website at drsteve.com.
I love your radio show, honestly, though. Like, when I was driving around the country, this is before I had ever even met Anthony or anything, I was listening to your show, and just
really
weird. Yeah. And as a road comic, XM is a gift.
Yeah.
And that was just something that I always enjoyed, and I always enjoyed your appearances on the show. And can you just say fluid once?
Oh, of course. Well, one of my favorite times was mining for fluid in Tippy Tom's rectum when I did a prostate exam on this guy. He needed it, though.
You did do Tippy Tom's prostate.
I certainly did. And he had a perfectly formed prostate and no blood. I declared him the healthiest guy in the room, and he was dead a year later. So
yes.
There you go. So my prognosis.
He did live on the street, didn't he?
Correct.
Well,
so is comorbidity.
Yeah, he fell down a subway stairs and hit his head, but
yeah,
still.
he didn't fall.
You're not going to find that in his record.
He didn't fall down and break it. Yeah, he didn't fall down and whoopsie his prostate. Well, this weekend you can catch me at the Funny Stop in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. That is the 27th and 28th. And also you can watch my special, aprison10.com. It is only available until November 1st. That is the last day you can buy it. So if you have bought it, be sure to hit download. The site's going to be gone. So if you want it, go to prison10.com. It's only $10. Here's a little clip. So how long you been f***ing your mom? So I might be a Michigan 5 or 6, but I'm a prison 10. So go there, pick that up, and download it. Don't just stream it because it will no longer be available after Halloween. So
you have physical media, like a DVD.
I used to sell tons. I probably still have some CDs and DVDs sitting around.
You got to download that, and then you can burn it onto a DVD.
You can do that. I'm totally cool, and you can pirate it. I don't care how. No, I'm kidding.
Just watch it.
But yeah, but it is only available for a couple more days, and then it's going to be somewhere exciting, and we'll get into that. So
you're saying we should wait then?
No. Please help me with my cash grab.
Do it.
It's actually
limited
really
time.
not. I just contractually have to take it down. So, but yeah, please, I've made mistakes.
Many mistakes. You can find me on Nerdrotic. We just released a video earlier today, that I edited. Go watch it. It's about the strike and the WGA and all that stuff. So go watch it. And my channel. And on Mondays, we do a show called Base Staff Monday. Flawedzilla and Adam Krigler and a bunch of great guys over there. So go watch that too.
And again, I can't thank you enough for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Seriously.
It's been enlightening.
Honestly, I really appreciate all the answers.
Oh, so much fun.
Thank you. And right now, we get to the end of the world. All right. Stephen Miles, a former porn star from Florida, was sentenced this week for his leading role in the January 6th Capitol incident. What do you think his porn star name should be?
Mitch McCunnilingus.
I like it.
I like that.
Angela.
Dick Cheney.
Very
Simple.
perfect.
Yeah, it's
Perfect.
Hey, come on. You didn't even have to think about that one.
Dr. Steve.
Nancy Blue Pelosi. No, that Gavin Threesome.
I like.
That's a better one.
Well played. I'm gonna go Mitt Throbney.
There you go.
There you go.
We have a winner.
Hey, actually, we actually still have one more clip from
We have
Sheila.
Oh, we do.
Sheila Lee Jackson. Play the clip.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, yo, hello.
Oh yeah. Hey. So this is phone sex.
This ain't no phone. You got the wrong number.
Oh yeah. This is perfect. This is the one that degrades you, right?
What? No, this ain't no phone sex line.
Okay. Perfect. Oh, this is great. I'm out now. And I'm touching it.
You touching what? You better not be touching nothing. Don't be touching nothing no more.
All right. Perfect. All right. Oh, this is great.
You ain't shit. Don't be calling something you disgusting.
Oh, that's so good. This is working so good. Oh,
You ain't shit. You nothing. You ain't worth shit. You and your family ain't shit. Who raised you? You ain't got no manners.
that's right. I'm a dirty boy with no manners.
Yeah, you ain't got no man. You ain't shit. Don't be touching yourself. You got you down the wrong number, you dumb motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm done. Oh, where's my cat?
Shit.
And on that, we do want to remind you the Blaze website has been redone.
I turned down Alex Stein to do this instead. I
Yeah.
thought that was going to be too controversial.
Correct decision.
Oh, I guarantee you his is worse. If you go to theblaze.com, you will see it's been completely redesigned. You'll see news, articles, opinion analysis, and new lifestyle stuff like, sports, tech commentary. But what you will not see are those obnoxious ads that are virtually on every other website. So go to theblaze.com, explore the all-new ad-free experience, and see for yourself how we're prioritizing you, the reader, and standing up against the censorship regime. Good night.